If you work for a company that is owned by a PE firm, private equity firm, or maybe the PE firm has a majority stake in the company, they're quote in charge. If you're in that situation and you're an employee, do yourself a favor. Make sure that you are networking and building relationships on LinkedIn and in person, taking the right people to coffee, etc., on a regular basis. Okay, make sure your resume is up to date. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Make sure that you're keeping people warm in your overall network. You're reaching out, you're touching base, you're liking stuff they're putting on LinkedIn, you're saying hello. Spend time managing that because PE firms, for those of you that don't know that are listening to this podcast, their entire existence is to invest in a company and then flip it and sell it. So if you're owned by a PE firm, it's not going to be forever. They're going to sell it to somebody unless the thing goes out of business, right? They're going to sell it. There's going to be a new owner. When that happens, who knows what could happen? The new owners could fire all the existing home office people and roll those responsibilities into another home office that they have. Who knows? I mean, layoffs are likely when the PE firm flips the company. Not always, but likely, especially if you're in the corporate office. If you're in the field, you're a little more safe most of the time. But if you're in the corporate office, yeah, it could affect you. I saw it recently where it happened, and I've seen it a bunch. Okay. And often the folks that were at the corporate office, let's say they've been there for a while, right? Let's say they'd been there for 10 or 15 years. Well, let me start over. Let's say they've been there for 10 years. Well, the first 5 years was great because they worked with the founders. It was cool. The founders were involved. Founders sold majority stake to a PE company after 5 years. Okay, after 5 years, now the employee's like, well, PE firm's in charge, but everything still seems fine. So another 5 years goes by. They don't spend any time on LinkedIn. They don't spend any time networking. They don't spend any time building relationships with the future. And then boom, the PE firm sells the company. Then they're out of a job. Then they're on LinkedIn with their 57 connections, and they haven't posted anything for 2 years. And they're calling me saying, help me find a job. And I'm thinking, well, okay. First of all, you haven't updated your resume in 5 years. Your LinkedIn profile is terrible, and you got 57 connections. I mean, let's start by you helping yourself. So anyway, summary point is, if you are an employee listening to this episode and the company is owned by a PE firm or they have a majority stake in the company, make sure that you are always prepared for them to sell it with potential turnover. Keep your network warm, keep your LinkedIn profile up to date. And there is your Riderflex tip of the day.